Hello magical folk, it's Fairy Sarah here, and today I just wanted to pop in and say hello and talk about the energy of the weekend that has just been. It's a celebration time in the Witch's Wheel. In the Southern Hemisphere it's commonly known as Lughnasadh or Lammas. And as I tune into the energy of what's been going on, traditionally this Witch's Wheel is from the British Isles, and traditionally it's the first harvest. And when I flip the wheel upside down and do the thing to get it to work for Australia, there's no harvest going on at the moment. It's certainly not first harvest anyway. Someone might be harvesting something. What I've found over the years is that Lammas or Lughnasadh, or this time of year, is really hot, and living in Victoria I was interested to see, is it going to be different from Perth this year? And basically it's a little bit cooler, but there's no harvest still. I don't feel the energy of harvest. I saw people talking about how they were going to bake bread for Lughnasadh, and I actually got grumpy. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm gluten-free. You can bake gluten-free bread. That there was something I was like, oh, it just didn't fit with what it was that made me want to celebrate this time of year. Or any of those points as we go around the wheel. What is my motivating factor for doing that? Am I just taking something that someone has already done from the other side of the world? And it's not to discount my ancestors or my heritage or the past, but there is a part in my nature that does go and doesn't like being told what to do. It's that tricksy little fairy thing that just stomps her feet and goes, no, why? And it really rears its head at Lughnasadh. I don't know that there's ever been a Lughnasadh where I have been peaceful and serene. And I've come to feel that this energy, in one group I worked in, one of the witches, our lovely Eris here in YouTube land, she called it High Summer, and I think that is a spot on name for it. It is the peak of summer here down in the land down under. It's not solstice point, it's a very different energy, but it is that energy of brown and hot and very curious. Another group that I worked with called it Earth Harvest, and they took it as a time to look over the year that's been and take stock, which is like harvest. So I get that in there, and I do feel that, this beginning calendar yearish type thing, even though we've just snuck into February somehow, there is a part of me that does that. But really what I'm feeling at this time is a feeling of perseverance, a feeling of hard work, a feeling of that is so fecking hot. I suppose that is harvest. I suppose that's what a harvest would feel like. But I feel within that I'm not harvesting anything. I don't know, I'm gonna have to sit with it a little bit more. And so what's come up in my meditations leading up to this time, I don't even want to call it Lughnasadh or Lammas anymore. We will call it this time for the rest of this video. So what's come up at this time has been Green Man energy, and he usually pops up for me for autumn equinox as we begin that descent into rainfall down here in Australia and cooler weather, which means that things can grow back. And but here, living in Victoria, it's Green Man's come up this time, and I was delighted to see him. He's been a fond spirit co-conspirator for many years, and I was interested to find out what does him and this time have to do with each other. And then I kept getting the word Sarah's pop in. There's a permaculture space in Brunswick in Melbourne called Ceres. There's, that's Ceres. I might be pronouncing it way off. Anyway, and then 2 other times the goddess was referred to in one day. And so usually I really trust things that come up in 3s. And Ceres was there, and she's traditionally this harvest goddess. And I was like, okay, well, here we are back at harvest. And but then she didn't come back again. She just popped in for that one day in amongst house hunting last weekend, because we are looking for a house at this time. And so that is part of this energy that's going on at this time. Is this, for me personally, in my own little bubble, is the feeling of packing, looking for a new place. We're in the void. We know that this current house situation has finished, but we don't know where we're going next. It brings up fear and uncertainty, and there's stress about all sorts of different things, like how we're going to make ends meet and all those things that as humans in this modern society that we stress about, that's all come up for us to look at. And it's interesting. So that is, I guess, energy of taking stock and harvesting your life, maybe? I don't know. But then, yesterday was the exact midpoint here in Victoria between summer solstice and autumn equinox. So I marked this time at yesterday. And I thought, what do I want to do? I want to go and be with the green man. We'd been to a house inspection on Saturday. We went to 5 house inspections on Saturday. What a way to spend your day. Anyway, got to do it. That's the work. So I went into one though and walked out into the backyard, and I went, this is the altar for the green man. It just blurted out of my mouth. And I had not gone into any other place and thought that, but there was this space. And if we look at the wheel and where all of the wheel festivals sit, the northwest corner is this time where the green man had been popping up, and that was also the location in the garden. So it was very interesting that he should pop out of this house for us. So you never know, maybe one day a video will take place from that little nook. Fingers crossed, we'll see. Yes, so anyway, green man's popping up. So then I went, right, I want to go celebrate him. Where are we going? We're going to the Dandenong Forest. It's this beautiful giant tree space, and it's only about an hour from the city, which is amazing, because to get any huge trees like that in Western Australia, you'd have to drive for quite a while. So it's great that it's right on our doorstep here. We went out there to a little sanctuary called William Ricketts Sanctuary, and it blew my mind. I knew it was going to be beautiful, and I knew that he had made sculptures in the forest, but I didn't realize that these sculptures were totally talking about union with the divine, with spirit. It was the biggest, this dude, he might not have realized he was the biggest pagan going, but my goodness, it was beautiful. And so all these sculptures of Indigenous people, old men, women, children with wings or turning into native animals of Australia, just blowing my mind. They were fairies everywhere. It was a perfect way to honour the green man, and it was a perfect way to honour that time of year. It went from feeling like hard work to feeling like I was in flow. It's the first time for a long time it felt like just getting to, it's hard to put into words all the magic of it all. I'm going to attach onto this video. I took some footage of William Rickett, so I'm going to add it in for y'all so you can have a look, because it's just beautiful. And I don't think my video footage will do it justice, but at least for my friends back in WA or in other parts of the world, they can have a look-see, because it's just ridiculous. It's beautiful. What an amazing man. It's so lovely that they've preserved it. He has passed away now. When I got home, I'd taken a basket of corn with me up to William Ricketts, because I thought maybe there'd be a grassed area and I could sit, or a tree shady area and sit, and I was really feeling the call to weave something. And so each festival point over the last year since we've been here. And this time of year actually marks the final of the 8. Like, we've done our 8 now. It's our very first wheel completed in Melbourne, which is, it felt really momentous too. And at most of the points over the last year, I have crafted something. So the pentagram behind me was made at Imbolc. I made, you can't see it, it's up there. There's broomsticks we made at Spring Equinox. All sorts of different things. Craftiness was being made. And I'd been feeling the need to weave a basket. And what I wanted it for was, we've got different little spells manifesting to draw our new home to us and to keep ourselves lifted. But I wanted a place to put all my worry and fear before I burn it in my cauldron. Because all this time is bringing up that stress, and I thought, I want to make a burden basket. That's the name that had come up. And my sister's been keeping all this corn husk for me, and I haven't woven a basket for ages. And so I meant to weave it last week at the markets, but the markets were so busy that I didn't get to sit down at all during the day to weave a basket. So then I was like, right, actually, okay, it's perfect time this time of year to weave a basket. But throughout the day there wasn't anywhere to sit. So I came home, and for the evening I wove. And I wove and wove and wove and wove this corn husk basket. And it's really interesting, as I'm weaving, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a basket to put burdens into. But as I'm weaving it, it just became this beautiful sculptural piece. And these are feathers that we found through the day. There's some rosellas and parrot feathers, and then it hit me that here's Sarah's, and here's that corn goddess, and here's that element of harvest is here. This corn husk, like, that's pretty harvest-like to go and weave a corn basket. And I'm pretty sure that traditional Lughnasadh crafts involved weaving of corn dollies, which didn't look like dollies, they looked like charms and spells. And I think I might have made one without realising I was making one. And then I realised that this actually isn't a basket. It's going to be, I've been collecting all these beautiful little feathers from the family of 20 frogmouths that came to stay for 6 months. They've now flown off with their 2 babies, but we had 4 of them in a local tree at the park. And every day I would go and meditate, and the longer I stayed and the quieter I sat, the more feathers would appear like magic in the grass. And so if I pop them in here, just like that, it looks like there's a nest in here. And I'm thinking that maybe a cute little fairy sculpture could go in there. And that maybe this is a home, a nest, some sort of magic that I'll place in our new home. I love it! So funny. Didn't even mean to make it. And yeah, it's totally relating to the corn dollies. So curious. So there is this thing of harvest lingering, and is this maybe the folk magic of the time, the weaving of my ancestry, and the magic of witchcraft and the mighty dead and all the witches past, and there's this lineage that kind of wrinkles through time, whether I like it or not, and whether I want to change things up and make them suit me or not. There's a golden thread that's running through, and that's why we tap in, and that's why people see witchcraft and magical festivals and say, yes, I want that, because it's got something bigger than you or I in it. There is something in the earth that wants us weaving corn. Okay, weave some corn. And then I think, so you take the traditional part, and then you take the part which is, for me this year it was the green man, and you find out how it works together for you. And I think every single year is going to look different for me. But I also don't know anything, and everything changes the minute I think I know what's going on, so haha. Alrighty, I will stick some William Ricketts in now. So thank you for listening to me ramble on. wish me luck in house binding. I've been having some good dreams, and send me some loving, would ya? All right, I'll talk to you soon. All living things everywhere are forever one with us. Every moss, every mighty ancient, Holy Mother, in whom we live, move, and have our being, from you all things emerge, and unto you all things return. Blessed be our journey.